I'm Luigi, and we're here at the Denver Zoo for Real World Apps Biology. Why don't you tell me a little about yourself? What's your name and what do you do here?
My name is Kate Marino, and I am a carnivore keeper here at the Denver Zoo. So I work primarily with our bear collection as well as most of our big hat collection.
What does a zookeeper do exactly?
What a zookeeper does is a little bit of everything every day. Our primary job is to take care of the animals and ensure that they have incredible quality of life and good animal welfare. So first thing in the morning I come in, I check on the animals, see how everybody's doing in the section that I'm working for the day. Throughout the day I feed them, I medicate them, I train them, I clean up after them and clean their exhibits, enrich them.
Enrichment, what does that mean?
Enrichment are things that we do for our animals to give some stimulus to their day. It gives them something to do with both mentally and physically. Paper is part of the enrichment program here for our Asiatic black bear Tenzing. She really likes paper, especially in the winter months. She'll roll around in it and put it in her bed, and it's just part of that whole variety. We try to give them as much as we can.
So what was your undergrad degree in?
I have a degree in zoo animal technology. Most keepers get a 4-year degree in a natural science, so either biology, ecology, zoology, that sort of thing. And in order to get in the zoo field, a lot of times you have to do internships at zoos.
So a lot of hands-on.
Yeah, so not only do you learn your coursework, but you also did all the hands-on work as well. Because zookeeping is definitely a profession that you do need to know what you're doing as well. You could have all the coursework in the world, but if you can't get that instinct for working with the animals, then it's not going to be a successful career for you.
And how important is the use of biology in your profession?
A lot of times you have to know exactly what animals eat in their wild. Colobus monkeys, for instance, eat a certain plant in the wild that is actually toxic to other animals, but it's not toxic to them. So that's something that you need to know into consideration. Another aspect of biology that we use a lot is just knowing an animal's natural history and really studying up on the species that you're working with, because working with an Asiatic black bear and a brown bear is very different than working with a polar bear. Even though they're both bear species, they both handle their habitats and their environments very differently.
Are there any things that you might have learned in your biology courses in high school that you found helped you in your career as a zookeeper?
A really funny thing, in my biology class, we talked a lot about nutrition as well as how the body works and the GI tract, and that is something that I've always ended up using here in my field. I learned a lot about hindgut fermenters and foregut fermenters and how different animals' GI tract digest foods and different things like that. So it helps when it comes time to feeding the animals. You know, if an animal is getting sick or something, you can kind of see those signs early on in just how they're eating and how they're digesting their food.
And so how do all these things come into play with the overall health of the animals?
Well, we have an incredible vet staff here. We have 4 on-site veterinarians that help take care of our entire collection. And obviously biology is a huge factor of that. Our veterinarians are amazing people that know how to take care of a squirrel monkey as well as a bear as well as an elephant. And it's a lot of information and a lot of biology that they need to know.
Any other skills that you might have learned in your high school or college courses that might surprise us?
Education is a big thing in the zookeeping field nowadays, and honestly what I remember from high school is thinking about how my high school teachers, the ones that inspired me, how they taught and why I was so interested in what they said. My biology teacher in high school was one of my favorite teachers, and I do find I use a lot of the phrases that she used a lot.
So interesting, you didn't even necessarily learn what the class was teaching, but you learned from the teachers anyways.
Of how to teach.
That's
yeah.
Interesting.
I used English a lot, actually. Whenever a keeper wants to write a paper or we do a research project on an animal, you do need to have the correct format in that research project. Or if you're asking for funds for a conservation project, you do need to know the correct formats and how to write things.
And what would you say is your favorite animal?
Bears for sure are my favorite. I love all the bear species.
Why is that?
I don't know. I honestly, when I came in the zookeeping field, I did not think I would be one of those keepers that found my niche and be a giraffe keeper or an elephant keeper. But once I started working with bears, I couldn't really turn back. They're pretty much awesome. They do everything.
Would you say bears are your spirit animal?
Sure.
Why?
Well, I actually just had a baby recently, so I do have that whole mama bear reference. I'm very protective of my little one, and I understand that now.
And so what advice would you give a high school student who would want to become a zookeeper or is interested in becoming a zookeeper?
If anybody's interested in becoming a zookeeper, my first word of advice is to volunteer at your zoo, at your local zoo, and just kind of see how everything works. Once you do start into college, you're going to want to start applying for internships. Internships are a big thing. It gets your foot in the door as you learn how to do what a zookeeper does every day.
And if you guys would want any information on that, you should just check out the Denver Zoo website, right?
Yep, there is a teen volunteer program, and you can find out all the information on the website.
All right, so thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure. I learned so much. I hope you all learned so much. And
Thank you.
check out the Denver Zoo.